distance, then gradually nears. A fleeting encounter, then disappears. How did he leave? Did he fly with his ears? Murphy, he's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy, he's a cute and curly golden demigod. Not a mark on him, not a hair left behind. He's better behaved than all humankind. He'll clean up his paw prints for some bacon rind. Before you know it, he's gone. He's so streamlined. Murphy, he's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy, he's a cute and curly golden demigod. Traveling the universe through space and time. How do you do it? You're key to this crime. Are you here? Are you there? Are you anywhere or everywhere? Murphy, he's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy, he's a cute and curly golden demigod. You're such a good dog. You're such a good dog. Crimes after dark, close the night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dago from the cafe says forget about it. Leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare. Every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright. Every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name. after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel. We watch the threads ignite.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Crimes After Dark on a it's Thursday night, right? Is it Thursday night? Yeah, I think it's Thursday night. Welcome to Crimes After Dark. We'll get our panel up. We're missing one of the regulars that should be here, 1-1. He said he's going to be a little bit late. I was hoping he'd make it by the music intro, but didn't quite make it. We are going to cover a lot of just questions and answers. So this is a great night for you to come on stream with us and ask questions. People have been mentioning the Cy Ray book. That's $95. I know that sounds like a lot. I think that book was designed to be a textbook studied in college. Those kind of books are way more expensive and written at a higher level. And that's no offense to books like average books on the shelves, but average books on the shelves are actually written for a lower grade point average, a lower grade average, I should say, because your average person doesn't like the whole deep analysis that those textbooks are going to be. So it's not going to be an easy read, I imagine, but I don't know. I think Harsh Reality was doing a little bit of the analysis of that. So let's get the panel on stage. We got Robin and JJ from the State of the Deep. We're going to have one a little bit later. How are you guys doing this evening?
Very good.
Doing good, thanks. How about you?
I got some kind of weird tracer. Look at that. There's a weird like fucking light thing going on with my What the hell is that?
It's reacting with your tattoos, man.
That's what it is.
The green I got green grass on my tattoo and it's the green screening out. That's crazy.
Looks pretty cool.
I got like a bionic look going. Anyways, how are you guys? How's the back, JJ? You getting any better?
It's still messed up. It's I can move, but it's still not back to normal yet. It's still locked up on me, but it's all good. It usually takes about a week to loosen up. My lower GPA.
Piece of cheese, lower my GPA because I thought it was Friday. It's perfectly fine. You can. I will be at a lower GPA with you tonight, so it's okay. It's
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You're feeling better, JJ.
In fact, I don't mind reading books that are written for a lower GPA because I don't necessarily want to have to think at a fucking technical level on everything. Doctoral theses are really dry and boring to read. So,
yep, true. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to our chat. We have a freaking flipping phenomenal chat. You guys, I'm watching as the intros are rolling and everything, and you're chatting back and forth with everybody, teasing us and talking about Cy Ray's book. And I have to say, I have never seen a chat, and I have seen many on YouTube that just does not get real heavy into drama. That you guys are really respectful of each other and us and have fun. And so thank you for that. We appreciate, and even Crime Cat agrees. So
right, I was gonna say I saw some. I'm gonna stay. This is not Friday night. I won't use the word. I saw a cat jump up behind your head. Very, very cool. DA's a Fed. What the fuck? We got JJ's CIA and DA's a Fed. Hey, we should take it as, I guess, a sign of respect, that they think that we're so fucking smart that we're in the top intelligence agencies of the world. But hey, it's all good. Appreciate that. I'm sure I would say I'm sure it's just in jest, but I'm not sure because some people actually have accused me of being a Fed. I did work with the Feds, but I was not a Fed myself. So anyways.
And people said, commented on my back. Thank you, people in the chat. The thing that sucks is when your back goes out, I'm afraid to go to the gym because I'm afraid it's going to aggravate it and then I'll be like crippled again. So I've been kind of having to avoid that. And I always feel that guilt when I'm not, making it to the gym. So, yeah, but thank you. Thank you, chat. We love you. Thank you, awesome mods, denizens.
Oh man. Hold on. I'm digressing because it feels like a Friday night.
Let's just have it be the pre-Friday night, and just
the reason whatever. I was bringing it up, I was just somebody said they like the Kitties. I was trying to find the funniest shirt I've ever seen. Well, I should say I've ever seen, but what the heck? Why do I keep Sheen? I keep saying Sheen. Anyways, I'm trying to find a shirt that actually kind of represents what I was going to talk about, but I can't do it. It was, hold on. This photo. I'm going to show this photo. This was a shirt similar to the one that I thought was funny. Whenever I see the Kitties thing, mother sticker. I'm having a hell of a night tonight. This one. All right. Can I put it on the screen? Why can't I do that? Head to stage.
There you go. Show me your kid.
the shirt I saw was similar to this, but there was two of them, and it was like, "Show me your kitties." One of my favorite shirts. Anyways, that was a lot. I reached a long way. Into the Thursday night box to pull off that one.
There you go.
But anyways, one of my favorite T-shirts from old times. That and the D&D T-shirt that I loved as well. Anyways, so let's talk. We are open. Let's put the link out there if we haven't done so already for people to join us.
I will do it now.
Let's watch really, really heavily about comments and questions. I don't want to give away too much, but I get the impression from people who know Dr. Turvey personally that people are feeling bad for Dr. Turvey coming under fire by Ann Taylor because of the new book. The new book has caused him to get attacked now publicly by Ann Taylor, who says he should shut his mouth. He's under a confidentiality agreement, accusing him of breaking the confidentiality agreement, and telling him, who's authored 20 books on forensics, to stay in his own lane and not talk about forensics too much. But anyways, I find that weird. But I don't know what to make of that, other than it's just on my mind still. I can't quite get over Ann Taylor's move. By the way, as an aside, CrimeCon 2026, which I'm going to, has released their full schedule. My wife and I spent the last 2 days going through the entire schedule and picking our sessions. Steve and Christy Gonzalez are on the list, as you expected. I can't remember if they're in the main ballroom or if they're in one of the breakout rooms. If you've ever been to CrimeCon before, they have a main ballroom that's massive, and then they have breakout rooms that are slightly smaller. And I can't remember. I think they're actually in a breakout room, which is not to say anything other than not the biggest platform, but still pretty large. Authorum Labs is all over the fucking place. Not every, but there's a lot of sessions that start out with something and, cold case being solved by DNA. And Kristen Middleman will join us to talk about how their company is solving cold cases. Another cold case, and CEO of Authorum Labs will be joining us to talk about how they are featured in a whole bunch. So Authorum has its own presentation, and then they're also featured in a whole bunch of cold cases that are being solved by DNA, and Authorum Labs is the one that's listed as solving all the cold cases in America. Everything's getting solved by Authorum Labs. They're now fat with $48 million in new donations. So they are fucking crazy. From nowhere to instant heroes in the country, solving all crimes in America. So it is exactly like I thought it was going to be this year. Another swinging off the schlong of Authorum Labs because they're the big dick in true crime. So I told you I felt like a Friday night. I'm a little loose with my language tonight as well. Ann Taylor, what age is she? George Stewart says, Ann Taylor, what age is she? And Stacy Chapman, did they both go to Idaho? Ann Taylor did go to Idaho. Did Stacy Chapman go to Idaho? I don't know the answer to that. Ann Taylor, do we know the age? Do we know the definitively Ann Taylor's age? Because I can give you a guess on her age. But
I think she did. I think I recall that she did.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like everybody in that area went to that school.
Right.
So I just wanted to say one thing. Okay. Generally speaking, in my opinion, of course, Ann Taylor is going to bite back.
Right.
Even though the book never explicitly attacked her, it implied that she overlooked a lot of things and that she, didn't address certain things, right? Now, I have my take on all that stuff. Of course, you've all heard me say many, many times. However, even just that's why I'm saying generally, forget about my theory about the case. If the attorney, and because of the book referencing Turvey's, analysis, was not the kindest to Ann Taylor, she's going to attack back because she has to make it look like she's not happy about that. Right? No matter what, whether she's part of that whole thing or not, whether it's calculated or not, she would have to do that because she can't just sit back if somebody is not directly, but indirectly accusing her of not doing her job to the highest standard. She's going to have to say something in return, right? She's not going to sit back and just not say anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
I did confirm Ann Taylor's age is, she was born in 1965. Although the math doesn't seem right because the math doesn't sound right. 65, if she was born in 65, is she 57 or is she older than that? Because that seems
she's not 57 if she was born in 65.
Right. If she's born in 65, she's not 57. So that part of that
she'd be like
wrong.
61.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it says born in 65, age 57. I'm like, that math does not compute. I mean, I'm not a math genius, but that math doesn't compute. So,
yeah.
60 in July, someone said. This
AI is wrong a lot. I've noticed that.
Well, this was a Wikipedia article. So whoever posted the article, they just didn't update it to do the math. So they put so probably when they posted the article about her, they posted it when she was 57 and they just haven't updated it since recent. So that's a simple, well, it's not Wikipedia. It's something, well, yeah, it is Wikipedia. It looks like, anyways, whatever. Michelle, thank you for gifting a membership. Appreciate that very much. Sorry, that's been pinned for a really long time, and I really, really missed it. So I didn't miss it. I saw it. Then I was letting JJ finish his thought, and then I came back to it. So anyways, thank you for the membership. Great night, by the way, again, for questions. Please fire your questions at me. Let me know if you have thoughts, feelings. By the way, I'm looking at new cases all the time just to kind of add into the thing. Did you guys hear about there's several kind of cases that are starting to draw my attention. Do you remember hearing about the OnlyFans? Is it Cheney is her last name? She had an OnlyFans account and she is accused of murder. Her murder trial is coming up and apparently it's getting a lot of publicity. I just heard about it. So it was a domestic violence kind of situation. Her and her boyfriend had a history of domestic violence against each other, and now he's dead and she's accused to be the murderer.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and so I just saw a little clip of it today, and I was asking, like, is this a good fit for us? And they're like, yeah, this would be a great fit. So I don't know if we're going to look into that or not. It's way early to mention that, but I'm always looking for cases that really fit the high profile. Maybe it didn't happen the way that we thought it did. That's the whole devil's advocate's thing, is maybe it didn't happen the way you thought it did. So, let us know if you've got some things on your mind. Tinfoil Hat looks like they gifted 5 memberships. Holy shit. Thank you very much for the 5 memberships. That's amazing. Robin probably has the names of the people who got them. I don't know if it's important to list who got them. But...
I do.
Okay,
well, Tinfoil Hat received one from Michelle, F22.
Oh, they paid it forward.
And then they turned around. And so Crime and Chaos got one. Seahawks fan, Cat Lover 4700, Mark Ann 21, and Marie, aka Purple Freak. You all received memberships. So congrats to you, and thank you so much for donating memberships, both Michelle and Tinfoil Hat on.
Mark and Betty in the chat says, so Cy changed his mind? ?
Well, so that's a good thing. Happy Hounds asked a similar question. I want to talk about that. So someone said, DA, did you happen to hear Harsh Reality? Read a few pages released from Cy Ray's book. Not what I expected. Yeah, so I saw that. I saw a little clip. I saw what drew me into Harsh Reality's thumbnail was he said, Cy Ray live on Harsh Reality. I was like, holy shit, he's got Cy Ray on. So I turned it on, and no, he was reading Cy Ray's book. And at first, and it was funny because I told Robin, because Robin was interested in the book too, I said, I bet you this book's not even going to mention, like, it's a textbook. It's not going to mention Koberger. Well, I was wrong. It does mention Koberger right in the book. And Harsh Reality was reading pages from the book. What I read was, or what I saw him talking about, I didn't have a lot of time to watch it. It sounded like Cy Ray started like this. When I first was hired for, he didn't take money. He did not take money for his opinion in the case. He also pointed out this is the first time in his entire career he's ever come out and did some kind of analysis on behalf of the defense. However, he clearly stated, when I first heard about the crimes, I believed Bryan Koberger did the crimes. And when I first started looking into it, I still believed he did the crimes. That's what I read in the first few pages. And I didn't get further than that. I don't know if Cy Ray ever changed his opinion, but it started out with, I thought Bryan Koberger was guilty when I first heard about it. And when I first got into the evidence, it still looked like he was guilty. So at some point, did he change his mind? It does sound like he started to say, hey, look, you were trying to paint the narrative that Bryan Koberger is this brilliant forensics guy who knows all about cloud-based crimes and turned his cell phone off, but wasn't smart enough apparently to drive a route that didn't put him on every fucking camera in the whole town. So you can't have it both ways. If he's brilliant to the point of turning off his phone, and that's brilliant, then why did he take a route to drive his car to the crime scene that would pick him up on a million different cameras? You can't have it both ways. You can't suggest that he's some kind of elusive fish and then be dumb enough to take his own car to the crime scene and drive past a bunch of cameras to do so. So I don't know. Did he change his opinion? I didn't read enough of the pages to get that. One has joined us, by the way. One, how you doing? Oh, I put him on so early, he's not ready. Anyways, did you guys see anything about that? I mean, I don't know where Cy Ray stands. I mean, I know he was going to testify, really, I think, to suggest, I think that this is what I'm going to say about Cy Ray I'm sorry, Robin, I asked your opinion and then I fucking walked all over you like an asshole. But let me finish my thought and then I'll let you go. I feel like Cy Ray's position always was, and by the way, your camera's frozen, was what I can tell you is what they showed, what Nicholas Balance and the cast team showed on the slides is inaccurate. I know how the shit works, and what you showed as your evidence that Bryan Koberger his phone was, all the things you said about his phone is bullshit, because I know how that shit works, and you're lying. So I don't know that he was making a statement whether Koberger did or didn't do the crime. What he said was, the evidence you showed is bullshit. I know how what you had to come up with that, and you're telling only half the story. Is that a fair assessment, as you understand what Cy Ray's problem was at the beginning? Or not?
Yeah, that's what I understood from his testimony at the beginning, that he knew that it was shoddy work, or he was kind of incredulous about how they handled a lot of things with that around the cast report and so forth. But right. I have not had a chance really to read through anything yet. I did pre-order the book because so I will be getting a copy of it. So
and look at it this way: if Cy Ray may have come into just like I read. I mean, Harsh Reality read to me, because I'm a toddler and I need to be read to. He read to me that when I first heard about the case, I thought Bryan Koberger was guilty. When I first looked into it, I thought he was still guilty. But here's the thing. If I were to put words in Cy Ray's mouth, at the point that he realized that they were flat out lying about what they said they had on Koberger, that starts to make you change your mind. Like, wait a minute. If it's exactly what you say it is, why do you have to lie to convince people that it is what you say it is? So I think that's the turning point for Cy Ray. It's like, hey, look, you already had me convinced he was guilty, but why lie then? Why do you have to lie to this extent to make a man look guilty if it's clearly him that's guilty? So now I'm going to have to question, why do you lie about it? And that's where I'm at with this case as well. Whether Bryan Koberger did it or not, I don't know. But the point being is that if you have to lie to convict somebody, then it leads to questions about whether or not you did it right. Why do you have to lie if it's an open and shut case? So
well, and I did read just like the first 3 paragraphs of the preface, and that is essentially what he says is that this book did not come from his years of experience in the traditional sense. He wrote this because of all the mistakes that he made and he has watched people make throughout the years. And so this is his way of showing people how not to investigate, like
don't make this
how
mistake.
to investigate correctly, but that there's a right and a wrong way. And so that's kind of where he's coming from with this book. Like I said, that was just the first 2 or 3 paragraphs of what I read. So,
well, I think I was going to say, I think
here.
a lot of the, oh, hey, 1-1.
Hey, what's up, guys? I had some technical difficulties. You can hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
JJ was going to finish the thought real quick. I hear you.
Go ahead.
You must be driving, but yeah, go ahead.
No, real quick. I was just going to say, based on even the official narrative about the cell phone data, like this goes back to what we always talk about. They say a certain thing in a certain way, and it makes people, it implies something, but what they're saying is not what they're implying. So, for example, cell phone tower pings, right? There's nothing in what they have ever said in the information itself that says Brian Koberger was at that house, right? We know that we can,
right.
That's for sure. That is a fact. Those towers cover a wide area, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we know that. We know that because DA and I drove that area, that you don't have cell service in those areas. Both of us, 2 separate cell phone, carriers, no service. Everybody knows that now. So the information about the cell phone data is meant to shape public opinion. And again, I have only been more emboldened by everything that's come out that my theory is correct about this case, and that we were given in the whatever, the interest of a cover-up of some sort, we were fed a lot of information meant to mislead us. And it's how you parse out that information that's really critical. So nothing has changed about my theory because all the cell phone data adds up to nothing, literally nothing significant whatsoever. The knife sheath is completely suspect, that whole situation with the knife sheath. 2 of the main aspects. And the camera footage does not prove that was Koberger's car. So in my opinion, everything we've been told about the case that was critical to the case was horseshit. So
yeah, and I want to share a theory I have, but let's see how if 1-1 are you focused? Are you ready? Are you
I'm here.
All right.
No, I'm here.
Talk to us a little bit before I get into my theory about what I think happened with the Koberger thing.
Yeah, well, I read the stuff that they released from the Ray stuff. It's pretty interesting, and
I'm posting a link right now for people about that if they want to look at that book. Yeah.
Basically, the bottom line, we only have a little snippet, so we don't have all of what he thinks. But from what they showed, what I read, kind of what you said, he doesn't, at least in what they released, he's not saying that Koberger is necessarily innocent or that he wasn't involved. But what he's outlining, and hopefully I'm sure we will get a further explanation with the whole book. But from what they showed, he's basically saying that as more info came out and they got more camera footage and they got more info, they didn't check it. They didn't test it back with the original stuff that they had. So stuff just kind of was compounding. He's basically spelling out, which is what we've said the whole time. They had this narrative and they just made everything fit, and they didn't want to test it. They didn't want to check. So they don't care. I'm sure that there are many people. I'm sure if Bill Thompson had a bunch of people, I'm sure, that knew about the fog lights and different things. They didn't care. They really didn't care.
And this is what I think happened. And by the way, somebody asked if we can call in. Yes, I posted the link for you to join us backstage. So please do so. We'll bring you up on stage. You can talk to us if you'd like. I kind of feel like, and this is where this is that gray area where I've asked this question before and it doesn't necessarily go over really well, which is this. I feel like it's possible the feds, the FBI, believed Koberger was involved and they had reasons to do so, but they couldn't say why they knew he was involved or why they thought he was involved, because to reveal how they knew he was involved would be illegal for them to admit. So what they said was, wink, wink, nod, nod, MPD, this is the guy you should go after. The problem was there was no fucking evidence linking him to the scene. And so MPD basically fabricated evidence. You put the guy that the FBI convinced them was the guy. So they believed it. They trusted the FBI. Like, you're the FBI. If you say this is the guy, that's the guy. And they didn't have the evidence. So they made the evidence fit the person they were told did the crime. At the end of the day, then the philosophical question you have to ask yourself is, are we okay with that? If Brian Koberger was the bad guy, but they had to lie to get him, is that okay with you? Is it okay to lie to get the bad guy because in the end they got the bad guy and it doesn't matter what rules they violated or have to fake evidence, it's the right guy, and that's all that matters at the end of the day is the right guy got it. Now, I don't think it's the right guy in the sense that there's no way that crime was done by one person. So even if he did it, he didn't do it alone, and it's not the full story. But is it okay? Is it okay with people if they did get the right guy, that it doesn't matter if they violated the U.S. Constitution, if they violated people's civil liberties, if they did something illegal, or if they fabricated evidence to get him? What's most important is the right guy gets put away. Is that okay?
No, because what is, what limit, to what limit, they do one thing this time, what are they going to do next time? Like, it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. What happens when they get it wrong? I want everyone who's involved, in a cover up and who did the murders. I want everyone to get the fullest extent of the law. But it's definitely not okay. I mean, as you said, 100,000 times, and even lately, their main piece of evidence, besides the chain of custody, so we got the whole chain of custody thing that, Chris Whitcomb brings out in his Broken Plea book. And then on top of that, with the knife sheath, with the info we have, I don't believe that Koberger's DNA is even on a knife sheath. They doubled the sample. Right, they doubled the sample, and it went back to 4 brothers, and then they went, like you explained. I know it gets a little complicated when you're going, when you're talking about DNA and you're doing all that. But when you go, it's basically like you go kind of up just think about it like, you have a certain person and you go up to like a higher relative. Well, the higher, you keep going higher and higher and higher. Eventually, somewhere in there, we're all kind of related in a certain aspect. I mean, depending how high you go, and I don't think it's even his DNA.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know, I've got a guest backstage. We're going to bring him up real quick, but I think you're right. I think they never. I honestly believe they never had Brian Koberger's DNA at the crime scene, and the fact that that author developed it to 4 brothers who, baffling my mind, that has been lost to history. We will not know who the 4 brothers are. You just have to trust me, bro. It led to 4 brothers who we worked up genetic genealogy, and we won't even tell you how far we have to work up, how many generations we had to go to branch over and come back down to the guy we already thought was involved in the crime to get to him. And you just need to trust us. We don't have to show the math. I don't think they ever had Brian Koberger's DNA at the crime scene, which begs the question, was he even there? Like, did they just decided who was going to go down for it and they made up the story? All right, I want to bring my guest up on stage. I don't know if the J is silent. Is Ahira? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I got the amethyst part, I think, as well on there, but we'll bring them up on stage. How are you doing?
I'm well. I get that all the time. It's Ajira. It's the J that's hard.
Ajira. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you too. Hi, Dan. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So I initially wanted to call in about something else, but to be on topic, I wanted to say about the Cyray thing, and I can't help but find the timing very interesting right after
Mhm. Yeah.
everything that went down with Ann Taylor and the other expert. But what I think Cyray is doing exactly the opposite of what the other expert did and being really smart in protecting his reputation, but getting people to think about the problems that we have. He's not saying that Brian Koberger necessarily did it. I feel like he's saying if he did it, let's assume he did, since so many people think he did. So in that world, he's saying it would have made more sense for law enforcement to investigate a different route as opposed to the one that, you know, they went with for the PCA and everything.
Yeah.
And by not doing
Yeah.
that, it's a ultimate failure of law enforcement. If he is guilty, we're not even doing the job properly to get a conviction.
Right.
And
Right.
and so I think he's just approaching it at a safer angle, because I'm also nervous about what's going on with Ann Taylor and all that shit, that it might affect a plea or some sort of, like, you know, writ for Brian
Well, I
for his
think
appeal.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to comment
maybe.
on.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, from I mean, we don't know, I guess, the specifics, but I would tell you, from what we've seen, I'm not bashing Ann Taylor, but I
Oh
would
no.
trust, I would trust Turvey actually over, from what I have heard, and believe me, Turvey is he's extremely critical. Almost like every video he has, he's critical of law
Right.
enforcement.
But
He's got a ridiculous amount of experience, and I you know, I know we say like, oh, trust my word or whatever. Turvey is not going to risk his reputation if he says he didn't violate any. I would love to see how he actually violated whatever, you know, Ann Taylor is complaining about.
confidentiality.
Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah,
so. They had he signed like you know, kind of non-disclosure until
right,
XYZ,
right.
and I the only thing that makes me feel really sketch about him is, what if, because they didn't get that information about the knife sheath until like the day of the plea,
Yeah.
about the evidence being
Right.
tampered
It came
with.
in late. I don't know how
Right.
late, but
So
it came in the last week or so.
what if he fucked over Brian Koberger because they were planning on using that in as part of new evidence for the appeal?
Well, we've got a lot going on. I want to comment
Yeah.
on something you said at the very beginning, and then we got a comment that got pinned on the screen that I wanted to comment on, and so we got a million things going on. So what you said at the start was, I think that it was something to the effect of the timing of Cyray's book is interesting, and
Right.
I think that is a very important point. Christopher Wickham said, this is just the start. A lot more things are going to happen. So did Christopher already know about Cyray's book coming out?
I'm sure.
All of these
Yeah,
things are
he
leading.
probably
There's
did.
going to be a flurry, and I don't think this is the end. Cyray's book is
No.
the only piece that's going to come out. There's going to be more that's going to come out. So there's a flurry. Then you have to ask yourself, who's behind the flurry? Because again, think about this. Everybody should be happy, right? We've got resolution. The families can now rest. The bad guys in jail. Why don't everybody just let it fucking go? Why are there
Because
people in
it's
law
so
enforcement, FBI
obviously
agents
not
saying,
the truth.
right?
Right.
And whistleblowers are essentially coming forward and doing everything they can to let
But
the
I
police know
can't
something
help.
happened wrong.
The timing is so fucking creepy. I can't
Yeah.
help but still have that deep down suspicion of PSYOP, because
Yeah.
everything is so freaking calculated.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to comment
they
on that.
travel in the same circles.
Yeah, let
Exactly.
JJ
Yeah, go ahead,
comment, but
JJ.
don't get this. Don't let this comment leave the screen. This is the comment I wanted to talk
I'll
about
keep
that we
it
didn't
there.
get to. All right, go ahead, JJ.
Right. Okay. So I think in light of the whole PSYOP angle, there's all kinds of PSYOPs, right? There's
Right.
PSYOPs, generally speaking, right? What are they designed to do? To manipulate
the public
opinion, manipulate emotions, manipulate financial behaviors,
or
manipulate
change the way we do things regularly.
Right, social behaviors.
Yeah.
So it's essentially designed to manipulate the public.
Yeah, to nip and control. Yeah.
Right. So I think a big major component in and around this case has to do with the funding from the NIJ.
Absolutely. And what's her name? The professor? That Ramslin.
Yeah.
She like that too. And sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but also the IGG angle. But continue, JJ.
Yeah, well, see, so my theory is essentially that there were already federal level operations happening in the area, and since the whole domestic surveillance, predictive policing, the flock camera systems, all that has been in play and is literally hundreds of billions of dollars invested in it. They were most likely part of the NIJ funding was to implement surveillance technology in the name of preventing crimes and solving crimes. Same with Othram Labs, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that this part of this PSYOP is to manufacture consent from the public to have more accepted surveillance technology.
100%.
Right. So you know how everybody online, if you follow social media and stuff, oh, it's 3D chess, it's 4D chess. Well, the intelligence agencies and the feds, they play 4D chess. They think many, many moves ahead. They're not thinking like, oh, look at this evidence. Who's this suspect? Oh, look at these guys. And what about these guys? They're thinking about a couple years down the road, how are we going to get to our end goal, and how can we manipulate people to accept what
100%.
Right.
100%.
And Othram Labs being the center of CrimeCon for the last 2 years is part of that agenda, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you were to look at the agenda, launching Othram Labs,
it just fits together too perfect.
Investigation. Yeah.
Of course. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll wrap it up on my end, but is I've been saying this all along. I'm a broken record, but I have to say it again. Watch what happens down the road, because people forget. It's normal, like 24-hour news cycle. They watch the case. They're looking at the things put in front of them. Look what happens down the road. If he gets post-conviction relief, if he was working with that funding and he was inserted into this as part of a much bigger operation, that's going to come out, but it's going to come out. We're not going to hear about it. We're going to just see things that imply that that's what it was. And so we have to
we won't know anything. We'll think he's in prison and he's really on an island with Epstein. You know what I mean?
I mean, exactly. but we'll see them trying to implement and because what's going to happen, they're going to make a push they're already doing it, but it's going to be more apparent about the predictive policing and the camera surveillance.
The flock thing for sure.
Everything. Yeah. But so they're going to get pushback from the public. And I predict that they're going to spin it in such a way that, this guy, if we had this technology in place, this crime would have been solved immediately, and this guy would have never been put away, and, et cetera, and so on. So you have to, they know people have short attention spans. So what I've been saying all along is you have to read the signs and don't take anything they say at face value.
Well, and it could be connected to Project Bluebeam if you really want to go super deep into the conspiracy theories.
Nothing would surprise me. I say it all the time.
So here's the hard part.
Surprise me.
I get my nuts fucking kicked all the time about not paying attention to my chat. Do you know how hard it is to pay attention to chat when we have deep thinkers that want to elaborate and explain?
Yes, that's why you have to have lots of good mods.
It's funny. Like we've had Happy Hounds posted for 25 minutes and I can't get to their comment because we've got so much of it. So Happy Hounds, unfortunately, I have to make this brief because Fairy Godmother's been throwing questions I want to answer, and I've got that stacked up, and we just
sorry, Diego. I was just going to say, I'll let you guys get on to the comments and everything, but I really deeply wanted to just bring up one thing.
Yeah.
that's been driving me absolutely insane. I've been revisiting. So, okay, in the body cam at 1122, when the cops are going up the stairs to the 3rd floor, and they get to the top of the stairs and they go in the first bedroom on the left, and it's very apparent based on the body cam, even though there's redactions and whatever, that that's where the girls are, right?
Uh-huh.
Can we all agree? Do we all agree on that?
That they're
Okay.
upstairs or to the left or the right?
When they get to the top of the 3rd floor, that first bedroom on the left.
The first bedroom on the left, if I remember, the first bedroom on the left is as Kaylee's, isn't it?
That's Kaylee's bedroom.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
But
right, that's Kaylee's, I believe.
Right. Go back and watch the body cam footage. They go into the first bedroom on the left. I thought it was Maddie's for the longest time. I had it turned around in my head, but there's a couple things. I won't get into it now because I want to let you guys get to everyone. But they are acting like that's the room that they're in, and that is Kaylee's room. And I've gone over it. I've looked like with the floor plans. I've looked at like stuff that's outside the windows when they walk up. And there's something really weird going on there.
I mean,
and it's just driving me crazy.
I'd have to watch it. Yeah, I'd have to watch it. I'd have to watch again very closely. But I mean, it would make. They definitely would go in that room first if you're trying to clear. You're trying to clear the house. You wouldn't leave.
Well, yeah, because they go into Kaylee's room. But they treat it like it's Maddie's, which is why I thought it was Maddie's. And then when they go into the bathroom, the cop's like, oh shit, like he's totally like, I can't believe I just saw that, you know? And then they open up the door next to the bathroom, which I used to think was Kaylee's, and they talk to Murphy. And so Murphy's in the room next to the bathroom, which from watching the video, I thought was Kaylee's, but it's really Maddie's room. Go back and watch it. It's fucking weird.
Well, thank you, Azura, for coming on and sharing your thoughts and questions.
Thanks for hearing me. Appreciate you guys.
All right, I'm gonna let you
go.
Thank
you so much.
Here's the worst part. Look, I'm taking this really personal. I get tired of you guys telling me how shitty I am with comments, and it's taken me 35 minutes to get into a comment that I just wanted to make a 2-second comment on. I don't know how to get better at this. Like, I don't want to interrupt my guests. I don't want to interrupt my panel. But what am I supposed to do when it takes me 35 minutes to get a chance to say, yes, exculpatory evidence could have been that the police bungled stuff? Absolutely. And that's all I wanted to say, but it took me 35 minutes to get a chance to say that. Meanwhile, tons of comments are stacking up in the chat that I'm ignoring because I've been wanting to answer this one question 35 minutes ago. So help me out, people. I don't know how to get better at this. Everybody busts my nuts that I'm not as good as other creators at addressing my chat, but I try really, really hard to address the chat. And we have deep thinkers on this show. So how do we have it both ways? How do we have open discussions and go where the conversation takes us? But I'm missing 35 comments and I can't get to it.
Well, you try to answer as best we can, and I actually like what you know. I know it might not be real time. I actually like some of the stuff you used to do, where you would questions that maybe we didn't get to, or you weren't able to elaborate enough on because people are posting a million questions. That you do that after thing where you
I used to have the fireside chats where I would try to address questions that didn't get answered. But I liked doing them, but it had mixed emotions of whether people liked it or not, so it was hard. I don't know what the answer is. All I can say is, I guess in some regards, I'm not an entertainment show where all I do is address the chat and keep it moving and fast and snappy all the time. We're kind of a deep thinker show. And because we're a deep thinker show, when we have people that have opinions, sometimes those opinions take time to elaborate and explain fully. And it's really hard to make it both. We can't.
You got to jump on them as soon as they pop up, dude, or else.
But then but JJ, I would have had to have interrupted you in the middle of a flow. You were in the middle of a flow.
That
hey, JJ, shut the fuck up. I got a comment.
That comment came up before I started talking. You got to hit them as soon as they pop up. That way we don't get on a roll and into a different direction.
All right, shut your mouth and know your role because Pamela Smith is up. 6221 Pamela Smith. Just kidding. Don't forget. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, how am I supposed to do that?
Show your pie face.
Show your pie face. Don't forget, there's a full length mirror on the wall outside their bedrooms, and some of it has filmed with that mirror. That could cause the confusion. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good. It's been a while since I looked.
And another thing I wanted to say about that is sometimes those body cams could also, because I know with putting together videos and stuff, if somebody flipped that video, it could be in the reverse of what it actually was. So we don't know that when that video was processed, whether whoever was doing it inadvertently flipped it or whatever. But I'm going to go back. I want to go back and review that and see which room from a couple different angles to see which room they do go in at first.
And it shouldn't be this hard. They should just clarify some shit for us. It shouldn't be such a big fucking mystery.
Well, that's why so many people think we're being psyoped, because there's so many different aspects.
Right. Yeah. I've said it a million times. If the case was as simple as it said it was, why the need for all the secrecy? Why the need for shaming people for talking about shit like Ann Taylor shitting all over her expert witness? If it happened like they said it is, why is everybody so fucking pissed off about leaks happening? There shouldn't be any need for any leaks. Just show us the fucking evidence. If he did it, just show us the evidence. It's simple, right? You said you got him a million times. You got his DNA. Just show the whole evidence. Quit acting like you have to hide it behind secrecy, not uncover shit, and then shame people for talking about a case that's so simple, right? If it's so fucking simple, why are you still hiding shit and still getting mad when people are revealing that it didn't happen the way you said it did? You can't have it both ways. It's not as simple as you said it was, or you wouldn't be hiding shit to this day.
Right.
Yep.
Because I think it's
and Roxy Tucker wants to know if we know who the four brothers were. No, we do not, because they're not going to allow us to know who the fucking brothers were.
If you've watched my show enough, you know I have theories who the four brothers are.
We have a theory, right?
Othram Labs flat out said, I don't remember where it's at. So if you bust my nuts and tell me I have to provide receipts, I'm gonna have to do some digging. Othram Labs said they developed it to four brothers who were traced back to Pennsylvania. That's the part that really intrigued me. It wasn't just four brothers. It was four brothers from Pennsylvania, none of which had the last name of Koberger. Those brothers were not Kobergers. And then they developed after they were told to stop working because they developed it to four brothers. And listen, they were asked to go find one of the brothers and ask for additional DNA samples to be provided to them to help build the genetic genealogy. And one of the brothers said, essentially, no, thank you. I'm not providing my DNA to you, even though I know JJ wants us to do our duty and all of us contribute our DNA to Othram Labs. But the point being is that brother said, no, you're not going to get my DNA to frame one of my brothers for this crime. And so and this is the part that kills me. While I think I know who the four brothers are, and I feel like it's Kopacka and his three brothers, but okay, you can disagree with me. You know why we won't know? Because those names have been lost. So I'll never be able to ever prove to you that it was Kopacka and his three brothers, but I think it was Kopacka and his three brothers, but we'll never know because they threw that information away. The notes are lost. They'll never tell us who the four brothers are. And so they will tell me I'm wrong. And I'll say, well, then prove it. Who are the four brothers? Oh, we don't have that information. So you can't prove me wrong. It could have been Kopacka and his three brothers. So rant over. I'm ranting.
Yep. And U.S. Claire is backstage now.
Oh yeah, sorry, U.S. Claire. Let's get U.S. Claire up on stage.
I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 sec.
Right. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you guys?
Excellent.
So I know that JJ just left. If I'm being correct, but he has talked about his main theory that involves Brian Koberger, and I was kind of just for the most part, kind of just oh, that's a good idea. I'm open to thinking that, but over the last few days, I just thinking about it, and with my military experience, I'm just like, well, he might be on to something and sitting on it and all that. So especially with like everyone's thinking like, oh, like the feds are in this, especially with like a lot of FBI agents coming to 1122 King Road after the homicides happened. So and especially with like I think JJ is definitely onto something when he thinks that Brian Koberger is like potentially like maybe not completely a Fed, but like maybe like playing like a role with them, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
it could be an asset. Yeah, it could be an asset.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say to go down that theory, I think the intelligence agencies look for people in college who are the top of their class and are on a certain path. So I think it would be logical that the feds, if you want to just use that generic term for all three-letter agencies, would have been interested in Brian Koberger because he was a PhD candidate, up and coming, going to graduate with top honors, and that would make him an interesting asset, right? They would want to do something with him, and he came to WSU with knowledge of the NIJ funding, which was like $1 million grant to WSU to study things. So again, it's not a stretch to think that Koberger knew about the funding because he wrote about it. So we know Koberger knew about the funding. So he wrote about it. And that the feds might have had their eye on an up and coming, brilliant, top of his class PhD candidate in criminology, and said, hey, we can use this guy. Now, does that mean that the feds are involved with the murders? That would be a bigger stretch. But what I'm saying is, it's not too much of a stretch to say that the feds knew of Koberger, knew who he was, and that he also wanted to work with the feds. He made it clear to his dad, I have no intention in working just as a cop or law enforcement. I got bigger, he wants to go catch criminals. He might have well said, I want to work with the FBI. He might have well just said that. He wasn't looking to be just a cop. He was looking to be, something higher as far as a criminologist, somebody that got into the minds of how criminals think. He wasn't looking to be a beat cop kind of thing. So one could argue he had that aspiration when he came there. They knew he had that aspiration when he came there. So did they ever work together in some semblance? And that's a good question.
And I got like 2 points to follow that. One of them is that with him possibly on the autism spectrum and him having autism and being neurodivergent, a lot of neurodivergent people, especially high functioning like Brian, like a lot of the neurodivergent people, including myself, can see a lot of patterns and all of that, especially with Brian going into criminology and getting his master's and PhD in criminology, that could him with this neurodivergence and seeing patterns can help a lot with the feds and all that. So
absolutely.
and and also number two, with me being in the military, that's a little with my experience, like each branch of the military has their own kind of like internal like FBI group. With the Air Force, it's called like the Office of Special Investigations. So it's kind of like a mix of like FBI and like CIA. So like hypothetically, like at least with like within like operational like military, like if like if something happens like a death, no matter whether it's like a murder or like a suicide, like they will investigate it.
Right.
I've dealt with multiple suicides in the past like 5 years that I've been in, and they've had
I'm
to
sorry to hear that.
investigate every single one of them to and make reports, and they've sent them to families and all of that. And I know a little bit, especially with the army, but also because I've known people who have passed in the army, and all that. But and also on top of that, like some if you are part of like the like Air Force Office of Special Investigations or the other branches equivalent, that's more of like a special duty for like a little bit. And sometimes when usually you don't go into that career field right away. If you are in the military, you go into like a different job and spend a few years in that career field, and then you go into that office. So sometimes maybe if OSI gets like a whiff of something at a certain base, you can maybe like go back into your career field, but as an OSI agent, and like act as somebody, like, go back into your career field, do what you were taught to in your technical training, and but no one knows that you're an OSI agent, like investigating maybe like one person, maybe like that's something similar, but like with like the FBI and like other civilian people have done that, especially in the Moscow area, as you guys have said. Like they've been like, especially with the drug force, Tri-City drug force, like maybe like something like that has played out during that time.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Thank you, Gulf Coast Bum, by the way, for becoming a new member to the show. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces on this about theories and way Koberger could have been involved with the feds. And I've got an inside source, by the way, that I won't name, that tells me, and I don't like doing this because I don't like doing things without receipts, but I have a source that the more I talk to them, the more I think that they actually know shit. I was talking to this person privately, and they knew all about Christopher Whitcomb's book and Brett Turvey and Ann Taylor's reaction and why it happened, and gave me details that I was like, oh my God, that makes total sense. And I can't explain it to you right now, but what I'm saying is this person tells me that the feds were actually involved with, in some regards, the girls getting, not just the girls, the people getting killed in that house. And that's part of the problem, is they're trying to cover up that the feds' involvement in this is what caused that to happen. And it's a huge embarrassment for the feds as well. So if that's true, if the feds were somehow involved with, again, why would they be involved? Well, you start thinking about drug trade and a multi-jurisdictional drug task force and drugs coming across the border. So you get Homeland Security involved with that. So if they were tracking that shit and then you add the confidential informant, if they had a confidential informant working with the drug task force and somebody hit that house to kill and send a message to their confidential informant by slitting their throat for talking and shit like that, all of that could actually make sense, that the feds would have a vested interest to cover this shit up and have it go down a different way, because they don't want anybody knowing that they ultimately had a hand in what happened that night, and their confidential informant got wiped out and a bunch of people along with them as collateral damage. So yeah, I do want to we've got a couple of comments that are stacking up. So US Claire, I'm going to let you go and bring us some other comments up on real quick so we don't lose all of the opportunity. Thank you for coming on tonight. And, yeah, appreciate it very much. Appreciate it. I had a question, and I don't have it. I had it sent to me privately in our chat offline, so I can't pin it. It was from Fairy Godmother. The question was, why on the report Blaker took on October 5th, 2021, so this is before the murders, from Kaylee's sighting of the missing Coeur d'Alene woman, does it say that in 2021, Kaylee's residential address was 1122 King Road Residence? That's really interesting. So what they're saying is that, Kaylee was interested in a missing woman from the Coeur d'Alene area. She was into true crime. She had reported saying that she saw this woman at a local Walmart, I think is what the story was, and she reported it. Yeah. So this person, Fairy Godmother, is saying that report of Kaylee saying she saw the missing Coeur d'Alene woman who ended up, I think, being found in a lake somewhere, drowned or something like that in her car or something like that. Anyways, I may be getting all those details wrong. Maybe I should shut the fuck up. But the point being is I know a little bit what you're talking about. But the question you're saying is, why was Kaylee's address already listed as 1122 King Road when she apparently, according to books like Howard Bloom's, didn't sign the lease until later? So why was she already listed at 1122 King? It's a good question if that's
that whole house was so weird with the way people's addresses were listed. Some people were still listed there even though they had moved out. Some of them were living there and never listed on leases. Some were still paying even though they were. I mean, that whole house is just fucked up from beginning to end of this whole thing.
Kathan53, thank you for becoming a member, by the way. I appreciate that very, very much. Did you have something you were saying there, JJ? I saw you take.
Yeah, I was just going to kind of comment on some of the things that you have talking about in the last few minutes. That's why I say you can't underestimate the importance of the funding in that area, because that is federal funding. And so we've also talked about it, the fact that there's something about that house that was significant, and the people that seem to be associated with that house seem to be more significant in general. So, I mean, it's very possible that that house was part of the funding operations, which maybe there were surveillance things set up in that house, and that is part of the reason why they had to knock it down, rather than watching people pulling recording equipment out of the house or whatever, which might be conspicuous in some way, shape, or form. You knock it down. That's another potential scenario. Again, just speculating. But I really do believe that there was something in that area that was significant, that had to do with that house, that was connected to the larger picture. And if the funding itself was connected to that house, because that comes from the DOD or the DOJ. Well, let me think. The NIJ is the DOJ, correct?
The NIJ is a division of the DOJ. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So right there, that's a national security related. Anything related to the federal government that they could put that under that blanket. We also know about there were mentions in documents and things of the Department of Defense, correct? Right. That was addressed.
Right. Yeah.
So there's your and this is just my opinion. There's your national security blanket right there. Right. There is a lot of evidence that suggests that Koberger was working with that funding and potentially WSU. Right. So to me, that reinforces the idea that the reason why we've been lied to so much is because that's what the feds can do, and they're allowed to do it.
Somebody had asked the question, and it's great for education, and I had to even kind of look it up to kind of understand it myself. Somebody asked the question, what's the difference between an asset, you say that Koberger could have been a government asset, and a confidential informant? So that's a really interesting question. And the answer that I got back, because I even was trying to how do you explain the difference between an asset? And my general feeling was a confidential informant is more informal, whereas an asset's somebody that you're using more formally and more long term. But the answer that I got back was something like this: a confidential informant and an asset are often interchangeable by the public, but they're actually very different. A CI is someone who provides information to police or federal agents about crimes or suspects. They're usually registered and documented and managed under a very specific agency rule. So a confidential informant has policies that call them a confidential informant, and there's rules on how they work. They often have a handler or an officer or an agent that's responsible for them, and their cooperation might be motivated by reduced charges in a crime case, or except for or being paid for it or whatever. And again, by the way, this is important because many people say, well, Kaylee Gonzalez or XYZ person in the house could not have been a confidential informant because they didn't have a criminal history and only criminals are confidential informants. That's not true. They can pay confidential informants for their information or cooperation that have nothing to do with getting off of it. That's just one of the most common ways. We know of people who are criminals who are like, hey, I can get a reduced sentence if I help you turn on a bigger fish, but that's not always the case.
Right.
No.
Right.
And so anyways, government assets are much looser and ambiguous. It's not a precise legal term. It can refer to any person who's useful to the government, including informants, undercover operatives. So an undercover police officer can be considered an asset to them because they're undercover and doing undercover work. Cooperating witnesses, sometimes even people unknowingly providing information, are considered an asset. So it is kind of ambiguous. It's hard to define what the difference is between a confidential informant and an asset. But the one thing I would like to dispel, and I think we've got Captain 11 from NYPD that can back this up, confidential informant does not mean you have to be a criminal who's making a deal with the police to get off of a criminal record.
I have firsthand knowledge. I have firsthand working and knowledge of seeing confidential informants. They're not all. You do not have to. You do not have to have a record. You do not have to be a criminal to be a CI. Do many tend to try to do that, as you said, to get a lighter sentence or to that extent. Yes, it does happen, but there are plenty of CIs that have no record at all.
Yeah. Leon 11, do you have an update on the FOIA concerning law enforcement vehicles? Gosh, no. Here is the update, Jen S. I looked it up the other night. I requested that information from them about 3 weeks ago. They're supposed to respond in 7 days. So they have not responded, and they're just flat out ignoring our request for the vehicle movements that night in the police department that were around that neighborhood, and they just flat out have ignored it. They have not responded in writing whatsoever to my response. They're not allowed to do that. So now I just need to quit being lazy and file a formal letter saying, you have had this request that you have not responded to for X number of days by law, and here's the law cited. You have X number of days. You have not responded, so I need to push back. I do honestly believe this. The reason why they haven't responded is my question is one they definitely do not want to answer. I think I've asked a question that they are terrified to answer, and they're lawyering up and figuring out how the fuck can we not answer that guy's question? Maybe just ignore it, pretend like we didn't get it. Say, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. We never got that. They don't want to answer that question. That's my gut feeling. Is they don't want to answer that question. Good question. So thank you for that. What else have we missed? Oops, sorry. I was just trying to unpin that and ended up pinning some random thing. I'm all over the place. I need to stop clicking on stuff. Somebody else unclick, because every time I click on something, somebody else just clicked it before me, and I'm all over the place. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I was just looking back through.
I saw this another question. Okay, I did wonder if the books are to sabotage the potential plea. Whose side are they on? What if it's a psyop? What if they effed the chance of a plea being heard? Offshore money does a lot. Gosh, there's so many things, by the way, in that. So I hope I can get back to that, but I'm on a rant. Did you see the Gonzalez's responded to this book and basically said, they kind of mockingly said, I hope he does get a retrial and they sentence him and put him to death this time, because they're still convinced that even if Brian Koberger gets a retrial, it's going to end up ultimately with them executing this time, which they believe should have been done the first time. And therefore they're basically saying, oh, I welcome him getting a retrial because he pussied out with the plea deal and avoid us being able to kill him. We want to kill him and put him to death. So give him a retrial and we'll convict him. I think that's a little arrogant, because I don't think if it goes to a retrial, it's going to end up with what they want, which is a conviction. It's going to, if this goes to a retrial, it's going to be a problem. And I think that they're just trying to showboat to say that they believe it's going to end in a conviction. But to answer the question that was up on the screen, do I think that it was a psyop or something to that effect? I can't remember how it was exactly worded. I think the timing of what's happening is very suspicious. I think that it does line up honestly with post-conviction relief. I did, by the way, so the first thing, again, Christopher Wickham's book coming out, I think is the start of an avalanche of things that are going to come out. I think those things are coming out because we're approaching Koberger's window of being able to file post-conviction relief. And I feel like this is people trying to give potentially Koberger ammunition for that post-conviction relief. Now, here's the thing. A friend of mine said, what if we're all assholes and Koberger has no desire whatsoever to file post-conviction relief? And what are you going to do if at the end of the day, he doesn't file? Like we all expect him to file, but what if he doesn't? What if he just like, look, I said I was guilty. What the fuck are you guys doing? I'm guilty. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail. Like, will we all at that point let it go if he doesn't file? Because is there a possibility on our mind that we're just missing it, that Brian Koberger has no desire and it's everybody else who wants to say, hey, wait a minute, this didn't go down right. And he's sitting there going, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I said I was guilty, so fucking live with it. Like, I'm not going to file post-conviction. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I'm not inside his mind or anything, but I wouldn't have been able to sit there that day when Hitler is basically saying, are you sure you want to do this? Because essentially they have nothing.
Yeah, and I want to echo this comment right here. This nailed it is what I would say. Andrea Smith 9354. My God, why can't they see that everyone just wants everyone involved to be held accountable? I don't get it. If BK had a part, then so be it. But I think that there are more people that need to pay. And that is a 100% my point.
Bingo.
I don't have a dog in the fight. If Koberger did it, that's fine.
Right.
But he didn't do it alone. And to me, shame on everyone who knows he didn't do it alone and just wants it to go down that he did it alone, therefore allowing other killers to walk free. If you know other killers were involved and you're letting them walk free, fucking shame on you. You should be in jail for that kind of shit. If you know other people are walking free because you know it wasn't done by one person and you shut your mouth, that's a problem to me. So at the end of the day, I agree. Why don't more people just want to know what actually happened instead of the bullshit answer we know didn't happen? One person did not commit those murders. We know that. I feel like anybody that really, really is being honest with themselves knows that crime could not have happened in the time frame that they said it did, including a cleanup, including the wounds that were done with 4 people in that amount of time. It's impossible, and most people know it. And I know there are people who come out and tell you, yeah, it's physically possible and it could be done. And there's examples of the things like, but look, I think I honestly feel like most people know that it couldn't have happened. And the fact that everybody just wants to roll over and accept it and is not wanting the real killers or the additional killers or whatever you want to word it to be held accountable, that's a problem for me. For me, it's a problem. So,
I saw in the chat, like Tomboy had said, and somebody else, I apologize, I can't remember who else said it, but that there are no CIs, definitively, there are no CIs, or there were no CIs in that house. So
who said that?
Tomboy said it, and then I think,
oh my God,
who else said it? Let me see if I could find it. Canny might have said it. It was a little ways back.
Look, this is one of those things we're going to have to agree. I mean, I saw the body cam footage where an officer said, I don't know if you know this, but one of the victims was a CI. So everybody can tell me I'm lying and I didn't see it. I heard it with my own ears. And you know how I am. I don't believe in enhanced audios. It was pretty clear to hear. It was very clear to hear. So I understand some people want to say, I'm an asshole. There were no CIs in the house. That's fine. An officer said it. So maybe that officer's a liar. But I heard him say it. So I don't know what you want to do with that.
I just put a link in the private chat. The G's, they've started a foundation to help with DNA. That just
I'm looking. I'm Googling it right now to see if I can find confirmation.
Yeah, I put the link in the private chat.
Yeah, so Gonzalez family has started the foundation, officially called the Kaylee Gonzalez Foundation, is what it's actually called, operating or doing business under the name Murder Has a Name. So it's a DBA. So the actual company is apparently called Kaylee Gonzalez Foundation, and they're doing business as Murder Has a Name. So yes, that is true.
So everybody donate and volunteer your DNA.
Wow.
Whew. This case, man.
Yeah. I mean, so they can get more laws passed that are going to continue to hamper and make it more difficult to find out the truth.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, they're the new poster people for Othram.
But what's funny is it's so that's a good question though. I mean, money and motivations. It's the Chapin family that's making the face of Othram Labs, right? It's Stacy Chapin is going on the stage with Othram Labs, saying that they're going to kind of do this whirlwind tour of going around. I don't see the Gonzalez pairing up with Othram, so I don't know. Are the Gonzalez's also getting? That's true, and they're at CrimeCon, and they're going to share the stage with Othram Labs. I don't know if Othram's going to be at the same time, but Othram's is all over that CrimeCon, and so are the Gonzalez.
You can't tell me Othram isn't going to meet with the Gonzalez's in private,
right?
If nothing else. So,
all right, I'm looking for questions and comments that we may have missed, because I'm sure I missed a lot because I suck at engaging my chat. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. What else do we have? Any other comments we missed? Michelle Rowe had asked earlier, what if BK was told that his parents would be offed if he didn't say that he did it? Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that a lot. I think somebody got to Koberger in some regard, and that caused the plea deal, but I don't know how they got to him. Did they threaten himself? Did they threaten his family? He does seem to be a family guy who cares about his family a lot and calls his family all the time and is always concerned about his family. So if it almost would be easier probably to get to Koberger through his family than it would for him. And by the way, why do I still have the scrolling banner saying Crimes After Dark is coming up? That's long been over. See, I'm not doing things well tonight. Crime and Chaos says, Devil's Advocates 2024, do you still feel the same? That there is something big coming? Cy Ray's book and opinion is not changing anything for you, does it? So yes, I 100% believe something big is coming. I think we're just starting to see this, and something big is coming. I don't know that Cy Ray's book is going to be any bombshell. So I personally don't think Cy Ray's book is going to be the big thing coming. I think there's bigger things coming. I think there's much bigger things coming.
Yeah, and I think one thing that indicates that for me is the way that now you're starting to have the professionals kind of go at each other. I mean, you've got Ann coming out, against Turvey, and who knows who else is going to get, their nose out of joint if somebody says something. But I still want to know, why is it okay that she went and talked about the case with a group of other lawyers, apparently in Sun Valley, but isn't there some type of ethics involved there?
Yeah, good point. I want to address a comment that got sent to me kind of privately, and I definitely don't want to go to battle with somebody. And so what I was told was, can you do me a favor? I won't even name the person's name. If they want to out themselves in the chat, they certainly can. Can you do me a favor and let Lee know that I promise I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass? We have a source that has confirmed there were no CIs at 1122 King Road residence. All I can say is the same thing I just said. I heard an officer say it. So I understand that some of you absolutely 100% believe there's no CIs, and it bothers you that we're even suggesting it. And I get it. However, I wouldn't keep saying it if I hadn't heard it for myself. So was that officer misinformed? Sure. Did he loosely use the term CI when really he meant something else? Sure. But I believe I heard it with my own ears, and so I'm not going to pretend like I didn't hear it and just say, oh, well, a source says there was no CI, so that's it. Like, for me, that's not it. I heard it. I heard it said, and that's all I'm going to repeat, is that I heard it said. So because I heard it said by a police officer to somebody in charge of the investigation, I feel like you have to take that seriously. So if a source, and here's the thing, and this is the agreement, I'm not trying to go to war with my own chat. I have people who tell me sources that DA stop saying this was XYZ. I'm telling you it was this. I have people telling me all the time exactly what happened. Everybody's telling me exactly what happened. And I can't just stop saying, well, I've got somebody I don't know, and I don't know their evidence because they told me they can't show me their evidence, that just take that on word. I now have to shut up about every theory there is because I've been told this is how it happened. I've got a lot of people telling me that they know how it happened, and they're mad at me for continuing to ask questions because they've told me how it happened. So I don't know what to say about that. It's just super hard.
If there's a source, right? This is the thing. People, I've heard that before. There's a source. I've got a source.
Yeah.
And I understand that. People might have sources, but you don't know. Unless someone's, well, first of all, I don't trust anybody. So a source could be somebody who's biased also.
Right.
And doesn't want to reveal.
You may have a source, but they could be biased, right?
Information, right? So it has nothing to do with the people who say they have a source. Anybody in any person, any situation could say, I had a source inside. I don't trust anybody's information. I look at the big picture and I make my own decisions. And if I have information that tells me something that I feel strongly about, that's what I'm going to feel. And unless I speak to a source directly and I think it's accurate, a person that doesn't have an agenda, then I'm going to believe what I believe based on the information that I've seen. That's how I always have been.
Now, I will say this. The person who gave Lee the lease agreement showing Brent Kopacka as living in Pennsylvania, that panned out. And I know that because myself and Essie, we went on a road trip, and we confirmed a lot of things around that. So if you have something that you can send to Lee, we will look into it if at all possible. But we can't just go on feelings.
And that's you, Robin. You bring up a really difficult thing. I had a source that came to me that said, my husband used to hang out with Brent Kopacka in Pennsylvania. They went to titty bars together. Brent Kopacka fucked his wife at the time. I'm being just super blunt about it. And that ended the friendship. Very specific details. And I thought to myself, okay, that's a really juicy story, but how do I know it's true? And they provided receipts. Well, my father-in-law rented the house where Brent Kopacka was staying, and I've still got a copy of the lease agreement signed by Brent Kopacka and his brother at the exact time that Brent Kopacka got out of the military. I tried to show that on screen to all you people who said that I was full of shit. Brent Kopacka never came from Pennsylvania, was never there. And I said, I got proof. I can show it to you. And YouTube is the only video I've ever had pulled from YouTube. They will not allow me to show it because I was showing proof of where somebody lived, and they said that's doxing. And I'm like, how am I supposed to shut people up that I'm a liar if I can't fucking show them the proof? I had the proof. I could show it to you, and I was not allowed to show them. Not allowed to show it. They said, nope, you're doxing people. You can't show it. And I'm like, no one will ever believe me that I can definitively put Kopacka in Pennsylvania in 2009 because you won't allow me to show it.
We're your witnesses because I did the legwork. I did the physical legwork here and tracked it down, tracked down we did it.
People still challenge it, you know? You believe that?
Yeah.
I've seen in some other, it doesn't come up a lot, but people I've seen.
And of course they're going to challenge me because I can't prove it. I can't prove it.
People like, but there are people saying like, oh, he's got no connection to Pennsylvania, but that's not, but you proved he has a connection.
Yeah, he does.
We don't have a we don't have proof that he has a connection, that Kopacka has a connection to BK, but we have,
no.
Right.
Why would his name be on a lease? Obviously,
right.
We don't have a picture of him like,
and the whole reason
we have him on a lease.
Right. And the whole reason it is important is because I theorized one day that the four brothers from Pennsylvania was the Kopacka family, and people blew me up and said, you're an idiot. DA. The Kopakas never lived in Pennsylvania. I fired back and said, I know his mother lived in Pennsylvania definitively. I can prove it to you in public records thing. And they still said, well, you're an idiot. He never lived in Pennsylvania. Then I found someone who said, yeah, my husband used to hang out with him at the titty bars in Pennsylvania. And I got a whole story. And here's the lease agreement he signed with his brother. And it all matched up. And like you said, Robin went to the courthouse and verified this shit. And still people said, you're an idiot, DA. He was never in Pennsylvania. You're a fucking liar. Like, I can't win. Like, even when I try to show you the proof, I can't show you. And again, it's not even proof that's where that was the Four Brothers Authorum Labs developed. I was like, I made the comment, it could have been that. And you all said I was wrong because he doesn't come from Pennsylvania. Then I showed you he did come from Pennsylvania. And then you're like, nope, you can't show that. So you're still back to, you're wrong. Couldn't have been them because they're not from Pennsylvania. So, all right, whatever. I probably lost a lot of people in that long-winded fucking diatribe, but. So what do we got? We've got JJ still on the fence with CrimeCon. CrimeCon's looking exciting. I did like I said, I've done here's the problem with CrimeCon though. Here's the problem with CrimeCon. They go from like 9 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night. There's nonstop shit going on at CrimeCon, and Rhonda wants to do it all. I like to take a break and be like, okay, enough, man. I've seen enough shows for the day. Like I could go, but Rhonda's like, no, we got to do it all. And we had split rooms, and you're going to go one direction, I'm going to go another. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we got the custody queens who may be coming, and I'm hoping to hang out with them. There's a meet and greet room, by the way, with Christy and Steve Gonzalez, where you can have a very select number of people who can go do a meet and greet. So if I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I would do that. And honestly, out of respect for the family, like I'm not going to go stick my face right in front of them and go, "Hey, I'm the guy that you think shits all over your family." I'm not going to do that. But I bet you dollars to donuts, I'm going to run into Steve and Christy in the hallways on a regular basis. And Olivia, because Olivia is going to be there as well. By the way, that was confirmed as well. Olivia Gonzalez is going to be at CrimeCon with Steve and Christy. JJ, it's in regards to what you said when the custody queens went on the custody queens.
You can message me on Discord too, because I get notifications on Discord for stuff, and I have like so many different email addresses, and I'm not great at responding to all of them because I get a lot of spam emails. Crime get filtered. Yeah. So
Crime and Chaos, Koberger and Kopaka were both in Pennsylvania. We just can't find the proof. Yeah. I've got the proof. I have the proof. I have the proof.
We have it.
If you want to see if you need to see the proof, reach out to me and we'll show you the proof. We can't show it on YouTube, but I will show you the proof. If you're one of those people that we can't find the proof, yeah, you can.
We have it.
Yeah,
right.
We have it.
I just think
I've been to the house where the dude lived.
Yeah, right. Right.
You know, how can people not think I've been lied to about pretty much everything? And how can I trust anything I've been told about this case? Like, for me, that's relevant. We've been lied to so much that I don't believe anything that anybody says who's pushing the official narrative. Nobody. It doesn't matter who they are.
Well, you can believe Dylan because she gives 12 answers to this one question.
She's very credible. She's very credible. I mean, it's laughable what the powers that be expect people to swallow. It's getting to the point where you've all heard that saying, and people have shirts, "We deserve better psyops." It's like the horse shit that they expect people to believe. It's just like it's so funny because any kind of authority or power, people in power actually act indignant when people don't buy their absolute bullshit that they've been feeding the public for 100 years.
Yeah.
So it to me, it's just the fact that people would believe anything whatsoever that's even 6 degrees connected to official sources in this case, it boggles my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do we got? Any other comments, questions, concerns? looking for comments.
So is Turvey coming out with a book next?
Sure, I'm sure he will.
I don't know what Turvey's gonna. So everybody wants Turvey on their show now, and I don't know if Turvey's going to get cold feet because he's being attacked now by lawyers and stuff like that. So we'll see how that pans out. So
he's not. I mean, if he can go along with like Joe Jackalone and trash the. I don't think he's going to be too awful afraid.
I hope not.
I could see him going on the custody queens though, because they're attorneys, like for sure.
Yeah. He just what he has to say about recognizing crime scene staging is just like masterful. I mean, just hear him explain certain things.
Who's Lenny DePaul? Will you do me a favor? Get a good pic of Lenny DePaul. Who's Lenny DePaul? I don't recognize the name Lenny DePaul.
I don't know who that is. Lenny DePaul?
I do say that I'm a little bit nervous about snapping people's picture and being that guy. But when I went to CrimeCon the first time, I was definitely walking, right shoulder to shoulder with Brian Enton and Vinnie Politan from Court TV, and all the people walk around the hallways, and you find yourself bumping in with them. And people are pretty respectful of those people. Like, people don't mob them and be like, "Oh my God, come, do a selfie." They pretty much.
I would love to see how they actually are when they're not on camera. Like,
Brian Enton, by the way, has a session at CrimeCon about what it's like to be on the road. Like, he spends all of his life on the road, traveling true crime cases, and so he's doing a special about Brian Enton on the road, what it's like to live out of hotels and constantly be on the move and talking to people. So that's Lenny DePaul I see on screen, hunting killers. I don't remember seeing his name in the description, but he must be having. You must say, I guess he's doing a session there, so I'll double check what the session is doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other questions, comments? Custody Queen said they are having Brent Turvey on. Is that somebody said that confirmed? They are going to have him on.
Well, I heard it. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I think I may have heard them mention it, but I can't recall.
What stood out to me, this is from Hemisphere 7156. What stood out to me about the Turvey thing is Ann Taylor's statements told us she isn't nowhere near getting any post-conviction relief or anything done for BK. Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? It does seem that unless in some imagination that we're not thinking through. I know somebody accused me of not being able to play 4D chess, so they don't think I think deeply enough because I'm a moron. But in some world, maybe Ann Taylor is actually pissed off that her chances of post-conviction relief are somehow hampered by Brent Turvey talking. But I don't see how that actually would be the case. I don't think Brent Turvey talking hurts her in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it helps her. So it almost feels to me, but again, maybe I'm just too dull to figure it out, that Ann Taylor's upset because she's okay with the verdict and the plea deal and doesn't want that apple cart being upset. Or it's all theater and she wants you to believe she's really pissed off about it. So that she doesn't, because look, I mean, for Ann Taylor's reputation, will she take, she went, from what I understand is Ann Taylor moved from a public defender to private practice, right? So when you're in private practice, now she has to go out and win people's trust to represent them. Like a public defender just gets cases handed to them. You know, anybody that comes through that can't afford a lawyer, you just get assigned a public defender. You don't have to shop yourself. But if you're a private person, if I understand it correctly, if you're a private attorney, you now have to go sell yourself and convince people that they should hire you instead of somebody else because you're not a public defender.
Right.
So Ann Taylor's reputation might be hit if she gets told ineffective counsel. You were a shitty attorney and you let your client down. Who's going to hire Ann Taylor? So if Ann Taylor is going into private business, which I believe she is as a private attorney, and maybe she doesn't want to take a hit as being told you're a crappy lawyer and you let your attorney down, who would want to hire a lawyer that basically got filed post-conviction relief because she gave ineffective counsel and didn't fight for them? Like, would you want that person as your attorney? So maybe she's upset about that.
Maybe. Andrea Smith says, yes, Kristen of Custody Queen said he would be on, but doesn't have a date yet unless that has changed.
Very cool. Very cool. I've been told there's a fair chance that I'm going to get Turvey on as well. But here's the thing. Like, I don't want to sound like a prick, but I don't want to have somebody on who's already done 27 different other shows. So if Brent Turvey is going to start doing the rounds on everybody else, I don't know that I would have anything new to offer. So I've been told,
plenty to ask him.
There's
come on.
And knowing you would come up with
so
something
much you could ask
because
him.
you always do.
But that's my only thing. That's my only thing. If he's going on a bunch of shows,
did you look at the schedule for CrimeCon? There's some good.
I did. Yeah,
on here.
I've gone through the whole schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can even tell you some of the titles that we're planning on going to, but it's lengthy. It's lengthy. There's a lot going on at CrimeCon. It's nonstop all the time at CrimeCon. So
I know, I see that.
The good news is there's a few sessions that we were excited about. By the way, JJ might appreciate this. There's 2 blockbuster part 1 and part 2 sessions on the Las Vegas shooting featured in the main ballroom. They're gonna do 2 hours, a part 1 and a part 2, which is not usual for them. So they're doing 2 straight hours of the Las Vegas shooting. Which is going to be pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
I like this pause on Pursuit of Justice. That sounds kind of cool.
The canine dogs,
canine demonstration. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I doubt that they're going to do anything that goes against the official narrative of the Las Vegas shooting at CrimeCon.
Well, of course, but they have 3 experts. From what I understand, I'm going off from memory. They have 3 experts. They're going to have one person that was an eyewitness down in the crowd when the shooting was happening, and 60 people were killed in that shooting, I think it was, and a bunch of people wounded. So there's going to be an eyewitness that's going to talk about, and an officer, I think, talking about what it was like on the ground floor chaos. Then there's going to be some kind of special agent that moved in on the 32nd floor to shoot the sniper, and they're going to talk about the logistics and what they encountered in the hotel room where he was barricaded at, and then there's going to be another person involved. So there's like 3 different perspectives they're giving. You're giving the ground perspective from a witness that was there in the crowd when the shootings happened, the person who stormed the room and what they saw when they went in, and then I think a third person. I can't remember who the third was.
I'm sure it'll be very informative. But I don't think it'll be the truth.
Right. I'm going to be there for you, though. I'm going to be there for you and take notes.
There have been some pretty extensive alternative documentaries done about it from people that lived in Vegas.
Right.
And so those, like, for example, Mindy Robinson did that Route 61 or 51, whatever it is, documentary. Or Route 91. I can't remember the name of it. You guys know it. It's out there. She lives in Las Vegas. And, anybody that goes against the official narrative doesn't get pushed. But there are people who have done extensive research into it. That people that have, like Ian Carroll, like him or not, he did a deep dive into the Vegas shooting. And, he's got over 1 million followers on X. It's got pretty widespread exposure. And I followed that case very closely in the beginning and saw a lot of the conflicting information for myself.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of crazy shit in the Vegas shooting. I remember a lot from that case. So I'm kind of interested to see. And of course, anything at CrimeCon is going to be the official story. It's not going to be conspiracies, angles.
Wow. This is an interesting one. I know you'll be at this one, Lee. Deep fake danger, confronting the rise of nudify apps.
Yes, yeah. And Chris Hansen, by the way, is going to be, the big pedophile catcher, right? Chris Hansen's going to help advocate that one. What they're talking about in the deep fake is they're focusing on apps that will take a picture of a person and then show that person what they would look like nude. And they're suggesting that people are using that to to use nude pictures of children. So they'll take pictures of children and then use the Nudify app to show nude pictures of children. And so they're focusing on the how can we protect children from this app kind of thing. So yeah, I saw that on the list as well, and I can't remember if we signed up for that one or not. There's a lot of it's possible to do it all. On the positive side, if you sign up for, they have a. I'm pissed that they charge you extra for it, but there's a Crime HQ club that you can join for a monthly charge, and it allows you to watch all the recorded sessions for the ones that you missed. So I will try to get some of those other sessions that we missed. Finding time for it all is really, really difficult.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Jeez.
There's a lot. I mean, I'll tell you, since you keep bringing it up, what have I got to tell you what we're going to do?
And people want to know what you're going to eat.
I know.
I saw that.
What I eat, we can't talk about on camera. I don't know. The fair thing is, like, I mean, it's Vegas, right? You're gonna have the food court nearby. So yes, they probably will have food inside the convention, but nothing great. I've been there for the first one, and it was mostly just pastries and bottled water. And I think there was a Starbucks. There was a Starbucks there where they sold a lot of breakfast sandwiches and stuff like that. So that'll be that kind of thing.
Which hotel is it at?
It's at the Caesars.
Okay. I went to Vegas. I went to Vegas a long time ago, but I remember Mandalay Bay had like an amazing. And
Mandalay Bay is where the shooting supposedly.
They had an amazing like buffet with like shrimp and all kinds of crazy like stuff.
All right.
I just remember that.
Just real quick for those, because you keep bringing up what you're looking at the itinerary. I'm going to give you highlights real quick of what Ron and I are thinking about going to. Their titles. I can't go into the full description of it, right? So. Prescription for Murder, the Ohio dentist double homicide is one that we're interested in. There is the Housekeeper Knows All. What Bianca?
I just saw that.
What the witness saw for the Murdaugh murders. When she was working in their house. I don't have my glasses on, so hopefully I can read all these things. The Search for Nancy Guthrie, the latest leads in the historical parallels. We were interested in that. Alcatraz Escape, the truth behind America's most famous prison break. Did they actually live and get away, or did they not? New evidence supposedly about that. And Cocaine Quarterback, a USC champion's fall from crime and a fight for redemption. That's a prisoner that basically started a company from inside prison and turned his life around supposedly. No Body, No Silence, Brittany Wallace story about a criminal conviction without a body. The Investigative Playbook, The Life and Work of Joe Kendra, which intrigued us. Hollywood Fire Devil, The Hunt for a Serial Arsonist. That was interesting. A crap ton of fires in I think it was the Los Angeles area. A serial arsonist committed like 77 fires in a very short period of time. It's the biggest fire arson case in U.S. history. So we were interested in that one. The Epstein Survivors Stand, No More Secrets, No More Silence, talking about 3 of Epstein's victims and talking about how his operation ran from their perspective was intriguing to us. What else do we got real quick? Hope I'm not boring the piss at everybody, but
you don't want to author them? You don't want to go...
I haven't gotten there. I don't think
ask author them. Ask them how they got to BK.
Behind the facade, social media, domestic violence, and the Courtney Clenny case. This is what I was telling you about. Courtney Clenny was one we talked about earlier tonight that was intriguing me. She's the OnlyFans girl that is on trial for murder. That's coming up right now.
Oh yeah.
Getting the Truth, FBI tactics revealed. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. It's talking about how FBI interrogates people and how they get people to confess to things, and how they get to see deception and how they work you into a confession and how they get your trust. 200 Days on the Road with Brian Enton. I don't even fucking believe I put that on the list, but I did. And let's see.
Thank you, Regina. Regina says, I like this place. I tell people to watch this channel. Everyone is fair and interesting. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Las Vegas shooting
actually,
part 1 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, this one sounds interesting to me. No Body, No Crime: How Prosecutors Prove Murder Without a Body. That's
Yep. There's a couple of them that have to do with no body. Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody wants you to wear your GoPro, Lee.
Oh, I know. So here's an interesting one we thought too. Behind the Verdict, serving on a high-profile jury. It's from the Lori Daybell case, and somebody who served on the jury is going to talk about what it was like to be on the jury and what kind of things that she faced being part of the jury on that one. So that's interesting.
Are you going to ask Othram questions?
Well,
you're definitely
you're definitely going to be recognized wearing the devil's advocate stuff. There's no question.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
could you ask a question for me if I'm not there? Could you ask how come that you guys never actually found Brian Koberger's DNA?
Right.
And then miraculously it appeared.
You know how it is, JJ. When you were there with me, though, I believe the questions that were asked from the audience were people that were actually queued up to ask those questions. They were not genuine questions from the audience. They were queued up to ask those questions.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like bizarre.
They do that all the time, and that's not even just to them. I could tell you. Yeah. I could tell you because going through the captain's promotion school or whatever, so usually it's going to be someone high up that has to do like a press conference or whatever. But if for some reason someone higher up wasn't available and you were the highest ranking and you did have to say something, they were, even like NYPD, they work deals with the media. They're like, okay, you can ask this question, that question, and that goes on even on a local level. And they're like, okay, if you play ball, we'll let you ask your question. If you try to be a little jackass, then so they play nice. They make deals.
Yeah, of course. It's like when they have those press conferences, there'll always be a bunch of luminaries or official people in the background, and each guy that gets up to speak has to say what an amazing job everybody did and praise everybody involved.
Yeah.
It's a PR thing, and it's
yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's what Othram Labs was when we went. It was like a PR thing to get investors.
It's Jen S says, just lie about the question you're going to ask and ask your true question. Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
They'll tackle you.
No. The problem is that I'm a guy that wants to be known for my integrity. So lying to somebody and then pulling a switcheroo on them is deceptive. And I don't want to be the deceptive guy. I would rather you know exactly what's coming. And if you don't want to deal with it, then don't deal with it. But I don't want to. I don't want to trick somebody into something. And so it sounds funny. Yeah, it sounds funny.
I want to see video of you being dragged out of crime.
Right?
That might happen.
You know what we could do with DNA or whatever, and then I'll just send them an email. Well, I don't need to do Fregezy stuff with his DNA. I have his DNA.
Yeah, they're gonna get your DNA and plant it somewhere, DA.
I don't need to plant it. I have it.
Some people are like, can we come up with bail money for Lee? You guys better fucking come up with some. If I get arrested, I better see some outpouring of support to get my ass out of jail or get me a good lawyer. So, yeah.
You play a lot nicer
Why
than
not?
I do.
If Gray Hughes can put himself in jail till people donate on his channel.
I'll drive right to John. I'll drive right to John Ray and
say pro bono case. Get Lee out of jail.
This comment, I'm sorry.
One looks like a younger.
I don't think we look anything alike.
But it's a funny.
It's the glasses. It's the glasses.
But they've got me being taller than everybody in the sizzle reel, and I'm not that tall. I'm tall. I'm taller than DA, but I'm not that tall.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And for some reason,
I'm 5'1". So
it's funny because that scissor reel height's proportional. I don't think that's actually accurate.
I'm only 5'9". In that video, it looks like I'm 6'1". I like it. Don't change it.
Yeah. It's AI. It's AI. What are you gonna do? All right, let's wrap up for the night, by the way, because we're approaching 6 minutes before. And I think we need to be a little tighter on our close because we tend to like when people realize it's closing and they wrap up pretty quick. Let's go around the horn real quick. JJ11, Robin, and then myself, and we'll say good evening for the night. I don't have a music queued up, so we'll just kind of say good night and get at it tomorrow night. JJ, what do you got for closing?
All right, thank you everybody. Thank you, advocates, denizens, and the great mods. We appreciate you all. Thanks to everybody showing me a little love. And my first video, I'm gonna drop it on Sunday morning, probably 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's just gonna be talking shit, general stuff about the type of things I talk about and how I think about things for the first one. So, and my public service announcement, everybody, I think you should be a good citizen and volunteer your DNA to Othram and to the new Gonzalez family, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have a fund too.
Yeah.
Whatever their
right.
initiative is, be good citizens. And I think you should also sign up for digital ID and digital currency, a central bank digital currency, because you'll be a better citizen if you do that. Make everybody safe. And I think everybody should always know that the government has their best interests in mind. And with that, good night, everybody.
Right. Othram Labs slogan should be, give us a nanogram of skin cell and we will put anybody at the crime you want to for enough money. But anyways, 1-1, what do you got?
I had a question for JJ before I close. Are you going to be, is it going to be a premiere? Or are you going to be live? When
I'm not going to be live. I'm not going to do lives yet until I get more fluid with StreamYard.
Well, I don't mean like a regular live.
Just live in your chat. As
like if you're going to be in the chat when you premiere the video.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Yeah. Sunday, I should be able to be around Sunday morning. It'll be earlier for me, but I was planning on doing that.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, so it seems every day or two, this stuff with BK keeps we keep getting some newer info, more info on the fuckery that has gone on, which many of the channels have been saying. So I know there's still some channels out there, or some people are kind of attacking Chris Wickham a bit, but before you go along to attack him, just understand, as Lee has said many times, he wouldn't be able to put certain things in that book without being, he would be easily, it would be very easy to sue him if he didn't have the, and he's got a pretty big publishing company backing him. So I understand the annoyance, and especially like on this channel, we let everything, of course, you always want to base stuff on receipts. People can come up with all kinds of theories and they do all kinds of things with audio and whatever, pictures, and try to make things fit their story. So sure, you always want to do things by receipts, but Chris's thing, remember what I think his main goal was to just try to kind of push us in the right direction. So that's what the whole thing is about. Just start some further conversation into, oh, look over here. Now there's, the whole train of thought on that is, is there an ulterior motive, as kind of JJ's theory, and you do question everything that's there. And again, like, well, if you're saying question everything, why should we believe him? I can't tell you what to believe or not to believe. You have the right to question that, but just look at some of the, I highly recommend everyone to, read the book or get the audio file. There's some very, very good stuff, some deep stuff. When you read it, as what has been said on this channel, some stuff he doesn't just come out and say like, hey, they fucked up over here. He words it in such a way where he's not really like attacking the police, or, you know, or MPD or whoever it is, but he's kind of pointing out, maybe you should question this. Like, this doesn't seem right. So,
yep.
But I do recommend. All right, thanks to all of you for coming. I'll give you a quick. This is not a long. It's a quick little movie quote. It's from the 90s.
Okay.
All right. It's a hell of a thing killing a man. You take away all he's got and all he's ever gonna have. Yeah, well, I guess they had it coming. We all have it coming, kid.
Oh man, I know it. I know that quote.
I'll read the second one. That's right. I've killed women and children. I've killed just about everything that walks or crawled at one time or another. And I'm here to kill you, Little Bill, for what you did to Ned.
Oh, that's
Bill?
No, Tombstone. No. That's the Unforgiven.
Yeah,
the Unforgiven. Yeah. There he goes.
Yeah,
Amanda
good
got
job.
it too.
Yeah. You said it like at the same time. Yeah.
I thought Gene Hackman first when you said Little Bill, right. But I knew the quote. I couldn't remember if it was another. That's a great movie, man.
Never. I see someone in chats had never seen it. I highly recommend you see.
Oh yeah. All right, Robin, what do you have for close?
Well, it was another great evening, and like I said at the beginning, chat, you absolutely rocked it tonight as usual, and we appreciate all of your comments and your questions. We appreciate our guests that came up tonight. It was great hanging out with you guys for a while, and we do that a lot, people. So if this is your first time in the den, welcome, and please come back. And whether you are here live or on our outstanding replay crew, we appreciate you just as much, and I hope everyone has a fantastic night, and we will see you back again tomorrow night.
Wow. And by the way, somebody just tickled. I've been talking about our group and how we kind of have musicians on here and we've got cool music, and music and true crime is starting to become our identity. Somebody said you should have music trivia. I do better with music trivia. Oh my God. That might be something we have to work in.
We could do it.
There you
trivia.
go.
We can throw that in.
Oh yeah, I got music trivia for day. I know weird shit about some of the 80s and 90s bands. I know weird shit about that. So yeah, that might be fun to do. All right. Thank you everybody for coming to A Crimes After Dark. Appreciate all the questions and comments. I do my best to keep track of the chat. It's really hard, as you can see. We have a lot of opinions. We're kind of a deep thinking channel. And so that's kind of our shtick. We're not going to be fast and furious like some of the lives, but hopefully the audience that I've noticed, we have a very loyal audience. The people that come here want that deeper thinking. So thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for the gift memberships that came in tonight. Thank you for everybody that watched us, and have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night again, Crimes After Dark at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and take it easy, everybody.
Good night, everybody.